Chapter 18. The First Heaven and the Fourth Teacher, the Mysterious Spirit. The journey pulls at the soul through thoughts and emotions, yet this path seems to be a measure of personal will. Of course, one believes that we have a choice in the matter, but it also felt like we'd been watching a dream or a film. 1 minute, I'd be visiting a great kami. Then a moment later, the setting and the surroundings would disappear, as if I'd been staring in a mirror. I'd see smoke rising through a non-material frame or reference. Then I'd blink and be a level higher, where a new spirit would reappear. Now where was I? Surely I was right here, walking forward in a hallway that was lined with endless mirrors, a cavern of sorts, but where had I come to explore? Now a certain voice spoke out from within.
"Welcome to the heart of the fourth floor,"
it said. The fourth floor?
"There are 28 mansions of the moon. Some call them 28 nakshatras, because we are traveling through the inner layers of the 7 heavens. These are 7 key celestial abodes, which are not material spaces. Then there are 4 levels on each of the 7 foundations, which is similar to the moon's different phases. It's a type of journey from emptiness to fullness, where we are moving into the divine law. It is a space of no place, as we are ascending into creation that is often called Jehovah, Allah, or God. Gone beyond the material world, we are connected into the parallel abodes above. Your spirit dwells in the realm of pure energy, and as we journey, we are being transferred up to meet with the beloved,"
said the voice. So why are mirrors lined upon the 4th floor? And how come I don't know where I am? If we are in the realm of energy, then am I no longer a human?
"You are the essence of spirit, and these realms contain our awareness. You live in a vehicle or body, but your soul is like a divine witness. In terms of the actual location, the 4th floor could be thought of as the spiritual heart. We are polishing the mirror of the first heaven. We are looking into the reflections of our lives, which extend beyond the earth into the vast stars. When a human gazes upon such mirrors, they see what they need for their own awakening. Some may see a realm of torturous cells, where others might find this place very comforting. There are peaceful aspects to this space, as there are also wrathful aspects as well. We are concerned with our actions upon existence, and that's what makes this place a heaven or a hell. Since this frame of reference is hard to comprehend, it seems we must face what is hidden. This is where the soul is cleansed before it ascends,"
said the voice of the heart. So the 4th floor is the spiritual heart.
"It is but a vein that carries us into the heart, and so we are on the 4th and final floor of the first heaven, which is the beginning of the 28 levels that make up the 7 heavens. The heart space is tender and welcoming, but for many humans on earth, their heart is confined within a cage, the same way a seed is enclosed in a shell. For those born in the body, then opening the heart is life's purpose and aim. Some see the shell as a brass door. Others can see it like a mirror. We are working with our own nature, and that's how the doorway to open the heart appears,"
said this spirit. Who are you? When I gazed deeply into the mirrors, all I saw was my reflection. There were mirrors above, below, and mirrors all around. On the left, I appeared as a different version of myself than compared to the right, and the mirror above displayed an image very different than if I looked to the mirror on the ground.
"You will come to know me deeper in time. as my presence is a reoccurring theme. Everywhere you look, I look back. Everywhere you gaze into is what I also can see. Maybe before you know who I am, we can understand how the seven heavens influence life upon the earth. Some would call this a magical property, as seven is a reoccurring theme in the seven churches, seven spirits, or seven thrones which the spirit looks after. The number 7 is found in Babylonian magical rituals, and the 7 Jewish and 7 Islamic heavens may have had their origin in Babylonian astrology. I am what I am, and I am here because of the one who has sent me. Each of the 7 heavens is a celestial sphere, inhabited by souls and guarded by an angel. Some call us cherub or seraphim of the Holy Spirit. Some call me Kami, while others cannot conclude as to what we are by human labels,
said the spirit I could not quite see, even though it was ever free. What can I offer you? I would give you whatever I have, but I seem to have little with me. Or have you come so that you can teach me?
You already have the key, said the spirit.
Which key?
The key of our mystery,
it answered. I searched my pockets, but all I had was a tiny mirror. There was also stillness, but the mysterious nature of this hallway of mirrors was still unknown. As I gazed upon the reflections of myself, even though I saw 4 different sides, I appeared to be alone. May I ask, where are you?
Where I am and who I am are the same. I am the universal nature, the prima material, or you could call me Rohini, the red one, if you're referring to the nakshatras,
it said. What do you mean, nakshatras? You even mentioned moon and its mansions. I do not understand what this means, and all I know is that you are a spirit, and you are not human.
Let us be concerned with the effects upon the places where the moon is moving. As the moon circles the earth, it reflects different potencies of the universe, and so this energy is then projected onto the creatures of the world in the form of subtle impressions. These appear as unseen vibrations, and since the essence of humans have subtle bodies, a soul's nature is impacted by these mansions of the moon, and this is an ever-changing rotational force in which the moon is constantly being tuned. For instance, nakshatra comes from Sanskrit and translates as lunar mansion, and there are 27 or 28 nakshatras that are measurements along the elliptical path, and so the moon is moving through the celestial abodes of the cosmos, influenced by all the prominent stars, at a rate of 13 degrees, as it reflects a force from a cosmic abode, then its impact is projected back. These impacts relate to a soul's birth and are charted like a human's personal map, as the moon is also a gateway to what lies beyond. When a pure soul passes on from the body, the soul must visit these gateways before they can go above,
said the spirit. What does this have to do with 7 heavens?
There are 4 parts in each heaven, and so you are at the edge of the first celestial abode. Each heavenly place has 4 gates, 4 directions, or 4 elements, of which the 7 heavens are composed, which means 28 gates or levels in total, said the spirit.
So how does one go about moving through the 28 gates of the 7 heavens?
You need the key,
it said. Yes, you said that before, but I'm not carrying anything with me.
Exactly. The key is within the mystery. How else do we become free?
It said. Now there were mirrors everywhere, and I still did not know where this voice was coming from. Rohini, reveal yourself. I cannot see you, yet you claim to be the red one?
I am right here. Look inward and behold. I am within you, and so I will explain the theory of one spirit with 4 souls. First, there is one. This is the divine essence, which has been called Yahweh, Jehovah, Brahma, God, and Allah. This is the one that has always been it. It is the creation and the creator. From this one spirit are 4 souls. There are 2 manifested souls and 2 hidden souls. Yet all of this makes a life whole. The first soul is rough, wild, and unrefined. The second soul is harmonious. These 2 souls are manifested. Then of the hidden souls, the first is happy, and the second is magical, powerful, and mysterious. The concept is the underlying philosophy of the universe, which includes the world of plants, animals, and each individual living creature, including human beings. Living organisms are mirrors, or extensions of the ways of the world, which are the 4 elements, 4 directions, and 4 seasons. From up here, the universe is a great circle, or many circles upon one another, larger and smaller. Each aspect is laid upon the other like a protective cover. Within the great spirit of the universe is the great circle of the 4 souls. Together within all beings, these 4 souls make one creature whole. Examine this hallway of mirrors. There are 4 directions, the same with the earth, and so anything born upon the earth will mirror the same laws of material creation. When we examine the first of the 2 manifested souls, the wild and rough aspect is the work of manifesting the individual in the physical world and maintaining the individual organism. This also entails the causation of new life to emerge, which relates to creating, sustaining, and destroying everything. Next is the second of the 2 manifested souls, which relates to the work of controlling the activity of the universe and gives form to things and embodies them. This work gives motion to the universe through the energy that permeates within the living. After these 2 manifested souls comes the hidden soul, which is hidden within us. The first of these 2 represent the work of harmonizing the entire universe. This is related to joy and happiness. The second of the hidden souls is related to the mystery of how life transforms. This is the work of the original one power, which stimulates creativity and birth, which brings ideas into actual form,
said the mysterious spirit. So there are 2 manifested souls and 2 hidden. Then when it comes to the 28 mansions, are these 4 sides of us impacted by them?
Such as a tidal ocean is controlled by the phases of the moon. It is the same force that influences all beings upon the earth. The moon does affect the hidden aspects of us, while the manifested souls are much more connected into the sun and the physical world. Remember how our focal point is the one spirit? Then comes the onset of the 4 souls. This together makes up a living being, and by this understanding, our nature is complete and whole. So there is one central spirit for everything. That is the entire circle of the universe. Then there are the first 2 souls, of positive and negative action, the source of all exterior manifestation, and the source of all inner or interior phenomena. Then comes the next 2 souls, which generate energy from heaven, which descends to earth, and one that keeps a place for an expression in heaven. This could be viewed as 4 sides of a pyramid, or 4 aspects of creation's physiology, but this is the essence of what human life will always embody, which has 4 souls. Now the key to freedom in all of this is by surrendering to the spirit and releasing the grip of ego. Ego wants control of the physical, but the 4 souls must remain centered together. Usually, people favor what they can see, and so they prioritize the physical expression, but that makes the majority of the world unaware of the higher aspects of the unseen existence and the influence we have from it,
said this hidden spirit. As I looked to the mirror on the left, I saw a reflection of the work of creation and destruction. This was the side which wasn't afraid to change everything, and yet there was also a side to maintain me as a living organism. On the right, I saw harmony of the soul, and it was the activity of the universe giving form to generate and embody me. The work here offered up energy to fill this life source through all things, which allowed us to live freely. Then above and below, I saw the hidden souls. One was happy and harmonizing with the universe, and the other was like a shadow, which was creative, magical, powerful, and mysterious. I knew this to be wisdom because I myself had a curiosity to dive deeper into the great mysteries. We have all felt the intuitive force, which leads us deep into creative contemplation. The way this works is by looking into our constant state of flux and change, and maybe this was similar to the 4 various ages. As I looked at life from the mirror of the higher self, I saw life in different forms. There was one source, but 4 embodied souls. There was the physical body, the etheric body, the astral body, and the mental body, and all of this was from the light body, which was the one spirit. Again, all of this was reflected in the 4 directions, 4 seasons, and 4 elements.
The whole point of this journey is in our spiritual recovery, as the ways of natural harmony seem all but lost in modern humanity. This rebalancing occurs when aspects of humanity becomes too weak or too strong, and so aspects of the personal, tribal, or population loses its natural balance. Now, of course, rulers, religions, politicians, businesses, governments, and lawmakers are the ways in which the population is impacted and managed. But have you ever wondered about the unseen measures that balance existence? When we find an imbalance in these areas, we see life result in physical illness, psychological symptoms, personality disorders, or simply stated, a person or animal seems to be out of character or out of balance. We should discuss an overview of working with the soul. We must look at the foundations. We are here to examine our world's actions, both its positive and negative effects on the individuals, to see which aspects of the seen or unseen souls are weak or too strong. When it comes to the light body, when a person has this quality in abundance, he or she will possess intuitive ability and a strong spiritual sense, along with practical wisdom and the capacity for self-regulation. Now, if someone had this in abundance, but lived in an age of deprivation, surely this type of abundance could manifest as a sort of active defiance. A person with a balanced body of light can attain mystical powers and use them wisely in any of the 4 souls. One could regenerate, harmonize, balance, or destroy. She or he, with an abundance of the light body, can experience apperception and travel to or communicate with the upper level worlds. However, if the light body functions too strongly, it can induce hypersensitivity or even psychosis. The function of the liver or spleen can become overly sensitive and easily excited, and conditions such as diabetes and high blood pressure can arise. One way to help us avoid an overabundance is physical exercise. If this light body is weak, there is a loss of willpower and the capacity for coherent thought and action. Self-perception is reduced, and there are risks of neurasthenic conditions or amnesia. A weak state is often reflected in a facial expression that lacks energy, a demeanor characterized by a lack of emotion and aridity or meanness of spirit. Recovering from this deficiency is more of a psychological than a physical process. It involves the development of the mind through intense concentration and the cultivation of a mentality of gratitude, openness, and generosity of spirit,
said the mysterious voice of wisdom. So that's all the light body. Then what about the subtle or mental body?
When there is an abundance in the mental body, this quality leads to emotional riches and acute sensitivity, resulting in an artistic temperament and interests. The person with this mental or subtle body abundance will make a favorable impression on others and is likely to have refined and elegant taste. When this is too strong, the affected person tends to become temperamental or even hysterical. She or he will be driven by passing fancies or transient passions and will become self-indulgent and lustful. When this becomes too weak, there is a loss of sensibility, an ability to feel or be moved by anything, and a mood of inertia, giving rise to indolence, lethargy, depression, and insecurity. The balance or goal of this energy, when in harmony, would be happiness while living. It is closely associated with the source of life energy, and to keep this on a balanced level, one needs to develop a good and satisfying social life based on loving and caring relationships,
said the mysterious spirit. Okay, so that's the mental or subtle body. But what about the astral body?
An abundance of this quality is good for the endocrine system and produces good physical health, reflected in a youthful appearance, and in particular, healthy skin. A balanced astral body creates a calm, magnanimous temperament and a broad-minded, tolerant attitude to life. When this becomes too strong, the affected person tends to overwork or indulge in an uncontrolled and excessive lifestyle. She or he becomes too sensitive and is easily influenced by dark thoughts, malice, or bad vibrations from other people. When this is too weak, the affected person ages prematurely in the mind, body, and spirit,
said the mysterious spirit. So that's the astral body. And what about the etheric body and the physical body?
The etheric body is between the astral and the physical body, and abundance in the physical soul leads to an active metabolism and healthy bones and muscles. It is likely to stimulate a person's athletic interests and abilities, along with a strong will and increased energy or vitality. It also happens that people with a strong element of this tend to lose their more graceful manners and assume, at times, a wild and combative air. Too much of this leads to a loss of both reason and sensitivity. It triggers more than a normal increase of sexual desire, egotism, and rudeness. When this is weak, the result is physical sickness and a weakening of muscles and bones. The affected person loses the desire to be active, physically or mentally, and becomes weak-willed. Negative emotions prevail, so then the person comes to regard all activity as troublesome and taxing, and becomes a habitual complainer. Also, the affected person displays a tendency to tell lies without shame. Many types of illnesses, both mental and physical, are created by the imbalance of the four souls, or four sides of our one spirit. There are esoteric traditions of pranic healing and medicine, which is a process of healing based on rebalancing the four souls. Yet this is a subject for another day,
said the mysterious spirit. What you are saying then is that there is a four-part spiritual structure within all living beings?
Human beings can be seen as having four aspects: physical, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual. These aspects correspond with the four souls in the structure of one spirit. The balancing act for this structure is different for every single individual. According to the mystery tradition, our universe, or the big circles of the universe, are a current of whirling spirits spiraling out of the great original spirit. From the 1 comes 2, then 2 to 3, then 3 to 4, and so on. In this spiritual current, an individual with their own identity is generated, like sparks of energy, which are also manifested as a vortex. The energies of the physical, etheric, and astral operate on an unconscious level and cooperate within these entities in order to generate matter. Next, on a conscious level, the energies of the mental and light bodies make life appear by joining the process initiated into the physical, etheric, and astral. Human beings are seen as an assemblage of 350 to 500 of these sparks of energy. Upon creation, the human being comes into existence when the one spirit descends onto this collection of energy particles. In a similar idea, it is thought that when 100 to 300 of these energy sparks come together, this means the creation of higher ranked animals. From 50 to 100 energy sparks creates the lower animals. Then fewer than 50 sparks of energy creates plants, and fewer than 30 will create minerals. When we examine nature as sparks of life, we can understand how human beings can project a part of their own spirit to a different place. This is possible because human beings are the collective sum of many sparks of energy moving into other planes of energy,
said the mysterious spirit. So what happens when we die?
When human beings die, their one spirit and 2 of the 4 souls go to the other world, while the other 2 souls remain on Earth. These 2 stay for a while, but eventually they can disappear. Ideally, they can be purified to join the mental and light body. This idea corresponds to the Taoist hermits with supernatural powers. The higher part of the human soul goes up to heaven, and the lower part goes back to the earth. Here we note a significant difference between the structure of one spirit with 4 souls. There are higher parts and lower parts of the souls, as above, so below. From a spiritual perspective, when we are born on earth, we actually die from the higher spiritual realms. And once we die on earth, we are reborn into the higher spiritual realms,
said the mysterious spirit. So at death, the light body and mental body leave the earth, but the physical, etheric, and astral body remain in the world? Is that right?
There is the soul that governs the physical body, so it disintegrates, either with the decomposition, if buried, or with burning, if it is cremated. When it comes to the etheric and astral bodies, it also goes through a disintegration process, but it can take more time. This aspect that is left behind could appear as a spirit that may stay with a home or a certain place. This would represent any odd or unexplainable behaviors that happen beyond the human eyes, since it is part of a disintegrating soul in disguise. One part of the soul may still contact the physical world, while the other part could be in the lower astral world. That's why memorial services for ancestors are important as objects of worship, since the soul is often still very much attached and connected. In this way, worshiping the various aspects of the soul is needed and wise for the spirit of the dead. And as for the corpse, we respectfully return it to the original great earth of coarse minerals. Then as for the mental and light bodies, we respectfully let them ascend to the higher throne of the other worlds within the seven heavens,
said the mysterious spirit. So what happens in the case of an unexpected death?
In the case of an unexpected death, such as a car accident, etheric and astral body of the victim remain in the site of the accident. That place often carries a feeling of attachment or even a grudge or bitterness from the deceased person. This feeling can be activated and sensed by a psychic approaching there. A psychic researcher might call this condition the spirit still connected to the earth. This type of spirit, in most cases, is not the real body of the spiritual soul, but rather like the remaining ether, if we dare to name it. If this ether is strong, there could be a phenomenon of a ghostly apparition. In such a situation, everything will be restored to normal in time as the soul goes through the appropriate process of purification. In general, the one spirit and the soul of the light body and the mental body move to the other world, but they do not necessarily go straight to the higher worlds of the kami, angels, or God. At the peak of the seven heavens is the one spirit, which is pure and bright, without any uncleanliness. But if the light body and the mental body have some impurity, then the spirit can float only a certain height into the higher worlds. The mental body is concerned with the function of thinking and integrating, so it is really wisdom or reason itself. If this mental body still has some impurities, that is to say, some heaviness or attachments, one cannot gain a cheerful clarity and brightness without purifying one's thoughts and knowledge. In that case, the mental body often comes back to earth in search of a new body to fulfill new actions to purify the mental body. This would be thought of as the process of reincarnation. The light body of the soul is concerned with the function of love and sentiment. So here again, one cannot gain the clarity and brightness without purification of sentiments and feelings through the experience. When these two remain impure, they pull down the one spirit. Therefore, midway to the higher worlds of heaven, one works on one's own purification to clear sentiments and thoughts in order to be able to eventually advance to the higher spiritual heavens. In this period immediately after death, the spirit soul remains close to this world, observing how family is doing, going out to visit friends near their home, or going to worship at the shrine, temple, or church. Many newly deceased souls are not yet clearly aware of their own death status. Some still remain a part of the astral body, so they have a semi-material body and can even make noises. Those who have psychic powers might be able to see them. Usually, they spend a certain period of time on Earth, the so-called 49 days in the Tibetan Book of the Dead, and in such circumstances, this is referred to existing in the middle, the bardo or purgatory. After a while, they become aware of their death and move fully into the other world,
said the mysterious spirit. Wait a minute, I'm sensing something funny. How come I don't have a body?
Something within you has died, yet your body is on the earth, while the soul has come to rise. Do not fear this inward death, my child. It is our time to fly,
said the mysterious spirit. Upon that, the spirit opened a seal. We went through it into a higher realm, but I'm not sure what it was trying to reveal. So what happens if the outer layer of our body lives, but one or both of our inner souls has come to die?
Why not celebrate? The you as in the body, the one who walks among the world, is still alive. Yet inwardly, if one of the souls is gone or dead, it feels like a crisis. Things in life may collapse outwardly, as an inward reflection of such emptiness. The loss of soul that Carl Jung observed in modern people is characterized by a sense of inner deadness, alienation, and futility, despite outward success. Jung attributed this to a rise of scientific materialism and the decline of traditional religious values, which once provided myths, rituals, and spiritual practices that nourish the soul. The disenchanted cosmos, stripped of inherent meaning, leaves no place for the soul. People have become increasingly identified with their external personas and cut off from the unconscious, prioritizing the ego's goals over the soul's longing. Perhaps everything that frightens us is, in its deepest essence, something helpless that wants our love.